I hate the moon. I hate the moon so much. Because when it's there, we cannot photograph any deep sky object. And that is 15 days a month.
But this looks really amazing. Why don't we show everybody how to make it? To capture the moon, you can pretty much use anything. The obvious choice is a telescope, but if you have no gear, like us in the past, you can simply use a point-and-shoot camera shooting through binoculars. If you have a DSLR camera with a telephoto lens, you can simply point it at the moon and capture it this way, which is the easiest method of the three. Also, the most important thing is planning. Write down how many moons you plan to have in your final image, when each phase will be visible in the sky, and what time it will be there. Also check the weather before you head out for each phase, because sometimes the clouds like to ruin your plans and you'll have to wait another month for that phase to come back. In the description below, we have a couple of links available to you that will be a huge help with your planning. Part 1. Capturing the many moons.
The moon is rising behind the mountains. What is awesome about photographing the moon is that who cares about light pollution?
That's right, we're actually not that far away from our apartment in an empty parking lot.
Alright, let's get to it. So for the moon, what I use is the shutter speed. I use 1/125th. The aperture I choose f11 so you can see details, because if you do like f4, f2 is gonna be way too blown out. If it's still too bright, you just go ahead and do like f20 if you want to. Just go higher. Then for the ISO, I use 200. You could use 100. I think both are fine. If it's higher, it won't be good. So let's take a test shot here. Oh, I'm using a my lens is 300mm, so we'll see here. So the moon should be right there. Yeah, see. So the screen is pretty dark. That's normal because we have ISO 200 and f11. So let's take a picture. Oh, by the way, also don't forget to do a 2-second timer, so your thumb doesn't shake the whole camera. Okay, let's get closer. So here is our shot. It's pretty dim, but it doesn't matter if it's super dim because on the computer it's going to be much better. If we zoom, see it's out of focus, but the details are there. So let's try again, but with a better focus. So it's kind of hard to focus. Just zoom all the way in and then focus with your... It's really hard with 300mm because it's so shaky. So just what I do is I just take like 1,000 shots. I mean like 20, 30 shots until my focus is perfect. So at least I know I have one perfect one. So now this one seems much better. Let's zoom in. Up, as you can see, it's much better. And just take like a few photos like that. Maybe like 20, 30, 40 if you want to. So you know you have at least one perfect one. Okay, part 1 is done. Let's head to part 2.
Let's do it. Part 2, the foreground.
We need to find the most interesting foreground for our panorama.
Well, living in Vegas, there's a lot of interesting things to photograph, but taking pictures of hotels or cactuses, it's not really that deep.
So where do we go?
Well, we could go to the stratosphere, we could try 7 Magic Mountains, or even the Luxor.
Let's do the 7 Magic Mountains. Alright, so we're here for the foreground. We chose this location. Look over there. You can barely see, but we'll see later when we get closer. Okay, so we are here. I chose this location, the 7 Magic Mountains, here in the Vegas desert. So we're gonna do a shot that will be about 2 seconds, maybe even 1 second, because the moon is full. And because of the moon, it's very, very bright. So what's annoying me right now is that there's like some tourists over there, and the tourists are really annoying because they're gonna be around the rocks and stuff. But, so, show them over here, the settings. So let's try 2 seconds, f2.8, ISO 100, and let's give it a try. 1, 2, let's see what it goes. See, it's pretty good. It's kind of too bright still, I think. So we can lower the time to maybe 1 second, let's see. I have to tell the tourists to leave. 1 second is alright. The problem is the sky is kind of blue, though. I think the sky is kind of too blue. That should be fine. Let's try half a second. 0.6. Okay. I think with some editing, that'll be good. What we did here, it took like what? 10 seconds? 20 seconds? And this is part 2. I mean, this is the second step. Now we only have the third step, which is editing. So let's get to it.
Part 3. The editing.
Okay, welcome back home. I'm gonna try to make this short, because once you know how to do 1 or 2 moons, the rest is pretty straightforward. So let's get to it. So you can use either Photoshop or anything else you want. It's pretty easy, since all we need is to delete the background for the moons and just to copy the moon itself to the actual image. So here you can see our image of the rocks as we took it straight out of the camera. I opened it in Photoshop. All we have to do now is just to bring our moons to the image. I'm going to show you like 2 examples today, because if I do them all, there's no point. So let's just bring one of our moons. I chose this one here and the full moon. I took both of those ones with simple binoculars, and I have a proof here. As you can see, I took all those moon phases last year, actually 2 years ago almost. And for example, the full moon here, as you can see, I also took a picture of the equipment. And look, this is Dahlia taking the picture of the moon with a simple point-and-shoot camera through binoculars, which are the Orion 20x80. So yep, and this one, the beautiful one here, was my first moon ever, and I was so happy with it. And I think it was a day, 2 days before, 5 days before, and the equipment was right here as well. Yep, that was my car and my binoculars. And yes, so all we have to do is take off the black behind it. So for that we can just go to the eraser, preferably the magical eraser, magic eraser tool. Let's try to see. This would be our image. It's kind of weird here, but if we put it against the sky, let's see. So let's bring it to, let's lower the size. Let's bring it to our image. Oh, actually it's very fine, look. So this one would be not in the middle, because the middle would be the full moon, and here would be the very, very thin ones. So it would be somewhere either here or here. And that all depends on how you want to do it. I chose to do it in a way that was more realistic, meaning from left to right, how it rises and what the phases were over the dates. So this one with the right side visible will actually be on the, let me see, on the left side. So it'll be around here, and we'll have to turn it a little bit later, but for now let's just leave it over here. Okay, so this will be fine. We can call the layer, so depending on how many moons you choose to include. I chose 9 moons, 4 on each side in the full moon. So if you want to name them, I think this one will be the 3rd one from the left, so you can just name it 3. and then the little one you can just name it 1, 2, 3, 4, full moon 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what I mean? Okay, this is done. See, it's pretty simple. It's really, really easy. Now we can just do this one. Let's hope the black goes easy. Oh, perfect. So you're gonna be like, oh, it's still black over there. That's fine, because once it's lowered in size, there will be no problem. Let's go over here. Oh. So this is a full moon, okay? Now we need to make it the same size as of the other moon. What I would do is pick the full moon first and choose the size you want. So don't make it, you know, unrealistic. Make it very realistic if you want. I think this is pretty good. I wish I know how to use Photoshop better, so I could, you know, center it perfectly, but I don't. So I almost never use Photoshop. I'm trying the shortcuts here. I think this is the most middle, but for now, just leave it like that. So if this is our size, actually I think it's a bit too big. If this is our size, and this is the middle, let's say, we can name this one full moon, which is 5, and this one was 3, and so the reason why I chose those two is because, as you can see, depending on what day you take a picture, what settings you have, what white balance you have, and what time, if it's rising or if it's already high, the moon will have a certain bluish or grayish tint. But this is totally fine because we can just make sure they are all the same color. So I'm just trying right now to make sure they're the same size. And we're gonna zoom and make sure they're the same size. I'm trying to guess. This is like a 3/4 of a moon, so it will be over here. Yep, I think this is the perfect size. Maybe too big. Okay, this is perfect. Let's unzoom. Okay, so we have both of our moons at the same size. Okay, so just repeat this same step for all the moons you have. I won't do it right now because it will be a waste of time with the video, because it's always the same process. Just take off the black background and copy it over here. And now there's only 2 steps to do left. It's going to be kind of annoying. So first one is to make sure all our moons are the same color. So for that, I like this one's color, which is the most realistic one. I think blue is not really realistic. So for the blue problem of this moon, for example, we can just zoom a little bit on it so we can see both moons perfectly. And all we have to do is just to open the vibrance panel and lower the saturation to match the other moon's gray color. So, oh yeah, we have to make sure it's a clipping mask, so it only applies to this moon, and just lower it. And we're gonna try to match the other moon. That's too much, obviously. I think this is almost perfect. Yes. Okay. This is really similar. It might be a bit dark, but if we go to, I don't know, exposure, we can just raise it a tiny bit. Okay, perfect. So do the same thing for every moon. So all your moons are the same color, or else it will be very, very weird. So now let's pretend we have all of them. We have to do. We have to make sure we can see. Let's see, view, show. Let's show the grid, and we want to make sure that each moon is the same distance from one another. And also, what I like to do is to create a new mask, a new layer on the very top, and use a bright color. Yes, perfect. this will be our center. Actually, I don't like the yellow color. Let's pick red. Okay, so this will be our center. Actually, just make one dot exactly in the center, which I'm not sure where it is, but just figure it out. Here, let's say it's our center. And then I like to, try to use a grid to... So we know we're gonna have like 1, 2, 3, 4 on each side. So try to use the grid. You can just change the color to cyan. Let's try to use the grid to place all the moons in the best way possible. So for example, I like to do the first full moon first and then start from the edges. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say, on this height would be our other moon, the thin one from the left. Then we need the same one but for the right. So follow the line, and then we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you'll be over here. By the way, I'm doing this very roughly, but that's just to show you how to do it. It takes a lot of time, trust me, but it's a lot of trial and error to get the result you like. And I don't want to spend 3 hours in one video. I just want to show you the basics and how to do it. So I think it will be fine. So we have 3 moons left on each side. So I have to do we should do the middle one first. So try to find the middle point. I like to use a ruler to put it against my screen, and then use my ruler to find the middle point, which will be over here somewhere, and that will be over here somewhere, and then same thing for in between. Up. Use a ruler at home against the screen. There you go. So that will be our moons. We can just delete the grid. And yes, so don't look at the red dots, look at the cyan ones. And if you want to make it more pretty, you can make it a little bit arched, so not too straight, so that would be over here instead. That would be over here, perfect, here somewhere. And then this will be here, this will be a bit higher as well, and there. Okay, so this is how you place your moons. So we said this one was the the third one, I think. So it will be right here in the center. And then the next one will be over here, then over here, and over here. And at the end, you get what you like. And then you can just delete this ugly layer. So it'll be 1 moon here, 1 moon here, 1 moon here. You get me. So I have the final product here, which would be like this. So as you can see, I like when it's a little bit arched. And yeah, everything is gray. It's all pretty. And if you like as well, I forgot to mention, you can kind of rotate the moons a little bit as they go down to make it look like it's rising more. And there you have it. This is it. We hope this video was very helpful to you. It took us 3 months to get this result, because sometimes the clouds are against you and they make you waste so much time.
Hopefully one day we'll have this picture in a casino, because it is very Las Vegas. But we'll see. One day maybe it'll happen.
Actually, we did something a bit different with the pic of the rocks. After a tutorial, we saved it as a different picture, which I will show you right now. This is the moon we took from last Christmas, which has a pretty rare halo, and I think it gives it a little mystical effect, which is pretty cool.
Just wanted to let you guys also know that episode 6 is in the works, and we're really impatient to have it done. But we bought a new piece of equipment, and hopefully you guys are going to enjoy that when the episode comes out.
Alright, we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.